Hi, you're welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm sure you probably will be wondering that what is Oluwatea up to again. Okay, so here is a backstory. I got my Navdaq approval 3 years ago, and ever since, a lot of people had always been sending me DMs and personal messages to say that, please, Toby, how did you get this thing done? What are the processes involved? And so I'd reply privately, but then I couldn't answer everyone. And so earlier during the pandemic in the year 2020, I organized 2 webinars where we had over 800 participants join both sessions. And, I shared my Nafdaq approval journey with them. It was such an insightful experience. And then again, still, people kept on asking, excuse me, how did you do that one? How did you do this one? But I still couldn't attend to everybody, right? So I had to document my Nafdaq approval journey as a paid course. But then again, people kept on asking about it, and so I decided to do this in bits and pieces. Today we'll be talking about labeling. I realized that labeling is majorly one of the things that makes a lot of back and forth go on during the Nafdaq approval journey, because people don't even know what to expect. Yeah, they know what it is listed as, but they do not know what to expect. And so, just like me, I ended up printing my labels over and over again. And at some point, I'm like, I didn't want to do this thing again. But thank God we eventually got our Nafdaq approval numbers out, right? And so, I would quickly run through what it means to get your labels ready for your Nafdaq approval, right? So the first thing you need to do, right, is your product name. Oh, before that, do you even know my name? Okay, so my real name is Oluwatea. I'm an entrepreneur. We sell shea butter in strawberry, vanilla, minty, and native variants. And we work with rural women actually through a two-way sustainability model, whereby we depend on them for our raw materials and they depend on us for a sustainable means of income. And so over the years, we've established such trust with them, such that we're now positioned to be distributors or suppliers of unrefined shea butter to other cosmetic companies in Nigeria and abroad, right? So that's majorly the entire scope of what we do, right? Okay, so diving right in, your product name. Remember, the topic is labeling according to Navdaq standard. If you're not labeling for Navdaq standard, or if you do not aim to aspire to perspire to, retire to Navdaq, you didn't need to bother. But if it's what you want to do, please, let's go. So your product's name is the name you want your product to bear. And so under here, I'd put a sample of our product label so that you'd understand as it is that I'm explaining to you, right? So your product name is there. And so this particular product is Tea's Nature Shea Butter Vanilla. Remember I mentioned that we have shea butter in strawberry, vanilla, minty, and native variants. So this product's name is Tea's Nature Shea Butter Vanilla. Right? So most times when people see your products on the shelf, they can easily say, oh, it is Tea's Nature Shea Butter Vanilla that I want, or this is the product, right? It's easily identifiable. And so that's what your product name is about. And then you need a company logo also. So a logo would mean that people can differentiate your product from another product. So a company logo would mostly comprise of an image and a text. So here we have this thing that looks like tree and plants that is growing, and then we have the text, which is Tea's Nature, right? And so those two have to come together so that people can easily identify it, right? Okay, so moving right ahead, we have the net weight. It is important to put the net weight of your product so that customers who want to buy can easily know that, oh, this thing is not that heavy. This thing is just very light, right? So we have 200 grams here. It should be on your label also, so that your customers can easily know the weight of what they are buying, right? So we've spoken about the product name, the company logo, and the net weight. Next on is your batch number. So a lot of times people confuse batch number with barcode. We'll speak about barcode later, but the batch number simply means that for every set of products that leaves your store, that leaves your factory, they have to be batched, right? So if you produce 100 products today, you have to batch it to say, okay, this is, for example, 001, right? You need to batch it. Why is batching important? So in a case where a customer complains to say, oh, this product has a particular issue, rather than you getting all your products out from a particular supermarket or a particular location, or a particular state, you can easily trace the batch number of that product to say, okay, if you find out that that particular product is really faulty, rather than bringing out all your products out of the state, you can easily just tell your suppliers to say, okay, please help me check for the ones that are batch number 002 or batch number 019, and then pull them out. So it's easy for entrepreneurs to do business that way. I'd heard of experiences where there were people who had production errors. So they put out newspaper publications to say, oh no, it's not all our products that are bad, just the ones with batch number XYZ to ABC, right? And it was easy for them to pull them out, and business continued as usual. So very importantly is that for every batch that goes out from your factory or from your production room, keeping one sample would be advisable. 1 or 2 samples would be advisable in case there are issues later on, right? Those samples kept should be for the entire duration of the manufacture date to expiry date. I would explain that in the next point, right? So the next one is the manufacturing date. And so if, for instance, today is January 17th, you need to put on your label that the manufacture date is 17th of January 2021. And you also need to put your expiring date. So, for example, there are some products that Nafdaq will tell you that this product should have a shelf life of 6 months. Some have a shorter duration, some have longer duration. So, for example, products like yogurt, products like Zobo do not have so long a shelf life. Or like products like shea butter, which could have a shelf life of about 1.5 years or 2 years. So it's important that you state that so that your customers know that this product I need to use or I need to consume it within this time frame. If a customer uses that product outside that duration, right, you are okay. You don't have any issues because it is clearly stated on the label that there's a manufacturing date and there's an expiry date, right? So the next is the Nafdaq registration number. The Nafdaq registration number. So most times the Nafdaq registration number comes after your Nafdaq number would have been assigned to you. But it is important that you leave it there. Why is it important that you leave it there? So that customers or potential customers can see that, oh, this person is working towards Nafdaq and not just selling any product out of the blues. It's important that it's there so that at least in the minds of your consumers, they know that this person is aiming or aspiring towards something greater. I know a couple of people that say, I'll not put Nafdaq, but I didn't. See, it's just advisable to do that because, even each time you look at it as a manufacturer, you're aspiring towards something, you're hopeful that one day your product will be Nafdaq approved. Now, this is one thing that most people do not know. Your batch number, manufacturing date, expiring date, and Nafdaq approval number, Nafdaq registration number rather, have to come in that order. So first is your batch number, next is manufacturing date, next is expiring date, and the next is Nafdaq registration number. Don't go and say batch number, you're putting it here, you're not putting manufacture date here, you're not putting expiry date here. It doesn't need to work like that. You need to put them chronologically in that format. If you put expiry date before manufacturing date, Nafdaq will send you back to go and reprint. They won't say, oh, it's just that error, right? And so that's one of the points that I got to where I was fed up because I was like, Shebi, all the numbers are there. What is the problem exactly? And so that was very important, and I thought that I should mention that to you, right? The next one is the allergy caution where necessary. So there are products, for instance, especially food products, right, where people react to. So, for example, peanuts. There are a few people that react to peanuts. It must be stated on your label that this product contains peanut, or this product contains strawberry, or, ingredients that could cause allergy should be clearly stated on your label. So, if the allergy cautions, it should be stated on your label such that anybody who picks your product off the shelf can say, oh, this thing, I shouldn't consume it because it has something that can affect me, right? So we dive right into the next slide. I hope you are having a good time. I promise to make this as short as possible. So the next one is the disposal sign. I'm sure we must have seen one guy on labels that's always trying to throw something inside the dustbin. He didn't used to open the dustbin. He will just be putting his hand like this and trying to put something in the dustbin. That's the disposal sign. It's important that your product carries the disposal sign. It's here, right? And under it is written dispose properly for disposal purposes. If that one is missing from your label, Nafdaq is going to send you back to say, no, don't do that, right? So next is your storage condition. So for example, shea butter is a product that would melt under it, right? And so I'd written down here that store in a cool place and keep away from extreme heat. So anybody picking the products can say, oh, store in a cool place and keep away from extreme heat. They can tell that this product is not to be left in the car. And so using an example, somebody buys the product off the supermarket shelf and it's actually in good conditions, right? And the person goes home but forgets it in the car. And then on the third day, the person remembers, oh, I bought shea butter 3 days ago. By the time the person opens it, it's already melted. Just like any other kind of butter, it will melt, right? And the person opens it and the person is like, this product is fake. Oh. Let's even call this number. But hello, madam, you're selling fake products. And I'd say, oh, I'm really sorry about that. Which product do you have with you? Say, oh, it's vanilla. And I say, please, can you check the other side? It's written that store in a cool place and keep away from extreme heat. That way, I'm vindicated. I'm not under any obligation to say, uncle, let me exchange it for you. No, I'll be pleading. So it clearly tells your customers the storage condition. So there are times also when people buy things like yogurt, like zobo, like, rice, and just store it anyhow. So somebody might buy rice, raw rice, and might say, for example, I'm just kidding, put it in the fridge. Why should you keep rice in the fridge? Because you didn't even state the storage conditions for your products on your label. So it's very, very important, right? So the next one is your list of ingredients. This one is very, very important. Also, just like the allergy cautions, people can see your list of ingredients and say that, oh, I shouldn't use this product because it contains X, Y, Z. Oh, because it contains shea butter in it, I react to shea butter, and it just explains everything there for your customers. And so I see a lot of people that will make products and not put their list of ingredients there. It's good. Calm down. Navdaq is coming for you. But don't be like that, huh? So let's move. It's important to put your list of ingredients on your label. Right now, this is a barcode. Very importantly, you see, barcodes are... Okay, so let me just quickly... Okay, so this is a barcode, a couple of lines, vertical lines with a pile of numbers under it. Now, I'll quickly tell you a brief story. When I started business, I just went on Google and downloaded free barcodes. You would find free barcodes, and that's the truth. And so what I did was that I downloaded the vertical lines. I was like, oh, this business, I started it in my father's house. It would be nice for me to put everybody's date of birth inside it. And so I started with my daddy's date of birth. So the numbers under it, I put 15, which is my dad's date. I put 23, my mom's. I now did for all my siblings. And so for the last 2 or 3, I was now putting 1, 2, 3, 4 to differentiate the products. I didn't know that the way Navdaq could flog me out of their office was terrible. And so that was what I did. And in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, this is a start of something great. All my family members were involved, but it didn't used to work like that. See, getting a barcode is very, very easy. There are a couple of people that actually sell barcodes, right? And there's some that one-time payments where you don't have to pay again. The barcode is yours, and it goes for as cheap as 2,500 naira. Or let me speak in the dollar mode. That's like $5. Something like that, like $5. Did I try? Okay, so moving on, right? So that's your barcode. So remember, earlier we spoke about batch number, and this one is now barcode. They are different things. Batch number, remember how I explained it? Barcode, is vertical lines with a set of numbers under it, unique to your product, right? So the advantage of that is that if your products get into supermarkets, your products can easily be scanned on their system so that, life is easier for everybody. And, you don't know the length and breadth of where your product will get to. So it's better you do it right from now on so that, So next is the name of company or distributor, the name of company or distributor. So, for example, here, I wrote produced by Nature Teas Ventures, the address, blah, blah, phone number, and email. So, I did that, and Nature Teas Ventures is actually the business name. Now, I put name of company or distributor. So that's for me being a local manufacturer. Now, there are products that come from the abroad and people bring it into Nigeria to sell, right? And so there are times where on a product you see produced by so and so company, United Kingdom, distributed by so and so something, Isolo, Lagos. So those two need to be on your label so that people can easily know that this product is abroad in Nigeria. Do you understand? So it's easily identifiable and people can know the length and breadth of, the history basically, or a general overview of what your product is about, right? So there's also the directions for use, right? So for shea butter, for Teas Nature shea butter, the directions for use is rub on the palm and apply as desired. Rub on the palm and apply as desired. That's what is written here, right? Rub on the palm and apply as desired. If somebody sees the product and says, vanilla smells nice, and takes it and licks it, I'm not to be blamed. Why? Because it is written clearly on the label that rub on the palm and apply as desired, right? And okay, so rub on the palm and apply as desired. There's something else that is not in this slide. It's the literature of your products. Now, the literature of your products typically explains what your product is about or what your product is. So this is shea butter. It talks about shea butter. It tells what it does, right? And it just gives a general overview. And so somebody who's picking up the product and looking, shea butter, what's shea butter? Can easily tell from the literature that this is what this product is about, right? It just makes life easier and people can make their informed decisions whether they want to purchase or not, right? I hope that this has been very helpful. Let's see if there's anything else that is missing. Okay, so there also has to be the Proudly Nigerian or Made in Nigeria logo if you want to have that, right? And yeah, so that's it. I trust that you learned something new, and I trust that going forward or with the next set of labels that you print, you will put in all of this because you never know. Your product can blow and you didn't want to be caught not prepared, right? And so have an amazing time. My name is Oluwatea. You can subscribe because periodically I'll be posting things like this to help other entrepreneurs like myself. Have an amazing time and see ya. Bye.